Hi everybody, it's Adam from Lucipixel, and I'm going to share with you today one of my #1 secret weapons on overcoming artist block. So stay tuned. Welcome back everybody, it's Adam from Lucipixel, and just a little quick reminder before we get started. Remember, I've started a new series every Thursday for now, where I do critiques of your work. So if you're interested in having your artwork looked at, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and all of the information is down below on how you can submit your art. As well, don't forget about my online art mentorship, Lucipixel. Again, all of the information is down in the description below. With that said, I have something very, very exciting for you today. It's a technique that's been used by some of my absolute favorite artists, master artists that are celebrated for their beautiful compositions and visual storytelling. And I find it's probably one of the most powerful techniques for overcoming artist block, solving composition, tackling things like character posing and interaction. It can shortcut you into figuring out what you're going to do with your environment. It is a very, very powerful tool, and I will generally use this as my focus on how to approach, I'd say, a good 85–90% of my paintings. If you followed my work for any length of time, you'll know that I'm very big on visual storytelling. It's something that I teach at length as well in my mentorship. So this is something that really matters to me. And I find that very often approaching a piece of artwork through the story is what helps me overcome a lot of my obstacles. But from a technical visual perspective, the one tool I want to teach you today is props. Using a prop to tell a story. Now, in the acting sense of the word, a prop might be something like a cigar or a hat or a coat, or some prop that that actor can use to help them pull themselves into the character. Like, for instance, how Viggo Mortensen used his sword as his prop to help him embrace the character of Aragorn. That's more of a physical, tangible prop that you hold in your hands. What I mean by prop is either an object or a scenic element that your character is going to interact with to help you establish, kind of give you a kickstart into the environment, but also establish how that character is going to act. By environmental element, I mean an object that resides inside the environment. And why I'm putting emphasis on this is because very often what we tend to do, which can very often limit our scope of imagination and make it very difficult for us to come up with ideas, is we tend to think of the environment as an open, empty stage, a field, a parting in the trees, the top of a mountain, some open area for our characters to act with. Instead, what I want you to start thinking of is an element, a section of that scene, a lamppost, a tree, a branch, a rock, a manhole cover on the ground, a railing, some element in the scene that your character is going to physically interact with to perform. A very good example of this was one that I saw on the YouTube channel Online Art Academy, which is a YouTube channel I highly recommend you go and check out and subscribe to. I'm a huge fan of that channel. And in it, he was showing some of Rockwell's brainstorming sketches of a sailor, a drunk sailor coming home at night after a night of having fun drinking with his buddies. And the way Rockwell tackled this obstacle, tackled this story, was to, at first, have that sailor interact with a lamppost, something that he could use, that sailor could use as a support, as a prop in the scene that he could interact with. So in some of the shots, he has him leaning up against sailor, interacted with that lamppost, and it helped to bring out that character. If you think about it, it's also shortcutting you into your environment, because instead of thinking the environment is just this big open space, you're thinking of the environment as the ground, the sailor, and this lamppost. And then whatever else fits into that scene are more compositional elements to help set a sense of staging and set design and that kind of thing. But the meat and potatoes of that composition has been solved between the prop and the character. So if we look over at the screen here, this is what I've been doing for the last hour or so. I've been doing these little quick sketches, brainstorming an idea, and I'll show you, I'll demonstrate to you, and we'll even do a few together on how I started off with a basic idea. But what I did at first was I just started with the character. But in this particular context, I'm just thinking about her and how she interacts with this rock. You could imagine this being inspired by a character like Rapunzel, where she's got this beautiful long dress and the long hair, but she likes to roll around in the grass. That kind of character. I love that element of it. So I kind of wanted to play around with that. And as I started to brainstorm this idea, I had the idea of her interacting with somebody else. So I thought a nice juxtaposition to her angelicness would be for her to have a little cute devil friend of hers. So the angel and the devil type of thing. I started playing around with this idea because I thought, well, if I make her younger, children love pets. But it's that whole interaction between child and animal, or child and baby, that I always found very endearing and very, very indicative of a child's spirit. They love to care for others type of idea. So I decided to bring in this pet. So you can see here I've got her standing on it. And here just flip from the back where she's holding him up on her shoulder. And here where she's lying down on this slab, and her little devil friend is, her little devil buddy is sitting on her feet, and she's kind of got her mind off somewhere else while he's looking at her. And here they're sitting very plainly together in a very kind of boring, kind of posy type of pose. And then here, maybe a little bit sad. They're both being sad together, where they're kind of reflecting each other's personality. But you notice how what I'm doing is I'm using that prop as an acting tool, the same way actors will use a prop to help them act. After about an hour's worth of sketching, I'm starting to pull myself into this story, and I'm starting to get more and more creative with how she plays with this environment, how these two characters work together to play with this environment. After that, you can figure out once all of this is figured out, what you're going to do with the rest of the environment. Okay, so this is a particularly powerful tool for people who consider themselves not that strong in environment design. It's not necessarily that you're weak in environment design, it's that you might be taking it from the wrong angle. And this is the angle I like to take. So I was thinking that we have the rock, but I also like this kind of tree, this dramatic tree sitting here. So maybe we can play with the tree instead. I'm branching off. I'm allowing my mind to get kind of carried off into another direction. So I'm thinking that, let me see. I'm thinking of maybe having her lean on the tree over here. And how will we have her leaning on this tree? So she's an elf, so she's kind of sitting there. I think maybe having her looking down a little bit. Maybe she's a little bit kind of pensive or sad, kind of looking down like this, and her hair's hanging down like that. Let's get her hair hanging behind her thing, behind her ear. So should I put her like this? I'll have her hug it like that. There we go. And here's the tree. It's going like this. There we go. And she's leaning with one leg. Should I want her totally draped on it, or just kind of standing there, leaning on it? I'll try, for this one, I'll try her standing. She's just kind of standing like this. I want her kind of standing in a bit of a sideways way, something like this maybe. And the rock is over here. Something like that maybe. So I have her hanging down like this, and here's her hand. So she's like that. Well, she's looking over here, so we're going to see her thumb. She's cupping around like that, and the other hand. Maybe have the other one here. What am I going to do with the other hand? Maybe just have the other hand. I want her really putting her weight on it. You gotta be careful because she'd be straddling it like a horse otherwise. So remember that she's... No, I'm gonna have the branch go off in this direction because I like her legs the way they are. Notice how my focus is on how she's interacting with that branch. And that really helps to propel and give a lot of depth to the acting that she's doing. A prop can be a very powerful tool. Let's say the branch is over here like that. And here's the rock. And then I want her drapery. So let me just move her like that. There we go. Maybe Maybe scale her head. Her head looks a little bit small for my liking. Tilt it over a bit more, maybe. No, she needs a bit more neck. I've lost her neck a bit. There we go. She's got a long hair. Like this. And then we have her dress coming into the shot. Okay. So the wind's blowing in that direction. Do I want it blowing in that direction, or do I want it blowing in the opposite direction? No, I like it pressing against the back of her leg. It'll kind of show off the curve of the back of her leg and her calf muscle. And maybe it's blowing out in this direction. It's hanging down off here. Let's flip it. And I want it to be unreasonably long, something she'd have to drag around with her. It'd be a pain. She couldn't walk with. Practically speaking, this couldn't work, but artistically speaking, I think it makes for kind of a cool idea. Maybe having it draped over like this, like that, and her hair's like that. And maybe have another branch sticking out in this direction to create a little bit of visual balance. So having kind of bending over in this direction. Notice. No frame, no composition yet. I haven't figured that out. That's actually something that I tend to manipulate with the drawing. Let's have a branch coming off in this direction. No, I don't like that. Okay, now I'm thinking we can crop it like this maybe. There we go. Go, and her friend is going to be climbing up, because I think of her little, it's like her kind of like her child, right? So the child's always trying to get to her, wants her attention. She's kind of maybe upset about something. Maybe she's daydreaming about her sweetheart, or maybe she's upset about something. I don't know. I haven't really figured that out. And maybe her friend, I'm imagining maybe her little buddy's over here like this with his tummy. And he's sitting like that, upset too. Because if mommy's upset, then he's upset too. So there we go. And he's looking down. Chubby legs. His legs are too long. Have another leg that's kind of sitting out like this, and then his tail. He's sitting on her back. Or I'm going to draw another one here just to see. Maybe I have another one, and he's climbing up the tree. No, I don't know if that'll work. Maybe he's sitting like this. He's standing at the bottom and he's looking straight up at her like this. Like, what's going on, Mom? Why are you so upset? Cheer up. Get over yourself. Like that. He's got his tail. He's looking up at Mom. Up at her. I'll scale the head up just a little bit, make him a little cuter. There we go. Pikachu. There we go. He's looking up at Mom. Maybe I can make that body a little bit shorter. I wouldn't get too much into details, but I do want to feel a bit endeared by this little cute character who's concerned about Mom because she's not in a good mood. And she's sitting there like this, and I'm going to have her kind of looking off like that, just kind of in her own mind. Okay. Here she's got 2 buddies, but I think I'll just go with, I like just the 2 of them, right? So it was a little quick lesson, but I really encourage you to give this a shot if you haven't already, okay? Because it's going to have such a big impact on how you create artwork. And very often it's that one little bitty ingredient you need in the morning to get the wheels turning, to get the rust out of your gears and get you started so that you can have a really good productive day. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, once again, I have my online art critique series. So if you want your stuff looked at, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. If you enjoyed the video, if you didn't like it, then screw off. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.